Good morning, Andrew Conway.
Good morning, good morning. It's
how are
so
you?
lovely to have you here. Sorry, you're chatting away, right?
Time
about
to
stuff,
jump in here.
because it's so interesting. It was kind of a passing of the baton. Maybe you didn't want to give the baton over, but kind of your last game ended up being your debut for Ireland. Is that what it was?
Yeah, so Tommy played against Wales the week before, got injured, thankfully. And
My God.
It happened a lot, to be fair, yeah.
and then I made my debut the following week. So we never actually played for Ireland together, but Tommy's time was up, and I was ready at that stage.
He was always ready, hooshing me out the gate at that stage.
I take my time to get there, so I'd done my time waiting in the wings.
Well, that's it. I mean, it was 2017, your first cap for Ireland. Like, you've been on the scene, and to be fair, I'd been playing some brilliant rugby at the time as well, and went on to have an incredible career. Like, we mentioned there about the move from blue to red.
Yeah.
Like, how influential was that? Because a lot of people see the provinces as being where they grew up, they don't want to move, but actually a change of scenery sometimes can bring out the best.
Yeah, like, I had to be really honest with myself that I wasn't going where I wanted to go in Leinster, and that was down to me. It was, genuinely, it was when I look back on it, it was something that I need to take accountability for, and to get out of my comfort zone and go down, move down the road, live with a few lads, find a bit more about myself.
Is it get you out of your comfort zone kind of thing?
Yeah, 100%. I went from being in school to playing for Leinster to having a lot of expectation on me, but not a lot of experience or not a lot of know-how how to be a professional. And I felt like the move away was going to be something that would make me grow up quicker and ultimately make me more accountable. And that's not to say that it worked straight away. I still had a lot of learning to do, but it was important for me. And I look back on my childhood, I went to Munster games, I went with family friends to the European Cup finals and stuff. So there was something in me that was kind of wanting to go down, and just followed my instinct, and never regretted it.
In the days of the Peter Clossies and the Keith Woods and all that kind of stuff. But it was interesting because I remember the chatter. It had been Felix Jones who'd gone down before you. And it was like, who is this Leinster lad from Dublin coming to Munster? But it really did kick into gear. And you did something that I think, like, as I was reading about this, I was like, God, that's so smart. You went to Paul O'Connell, you pulled him aside for a chat, essentially, like Love Island. You were like, Harry, how do I get into this team? Like, is that what it is?
Love Island, that's the site.
There we go. But is that kind of what, because Paul is such an icon, and you were like, I want to chat to this lad.
Yeah, it's funny when you think back on it. When you're young and you're eager to kick on, and you've got the likes of Paulie and other people, honestly, need to be mentioned too. Jerry Flannery, Felix Jones, Dunica. I had an amazing group of people there, and I, thought it was wise to tap into that knowledge. And it's funny thinking back now. Paulie would have been dragged left and right with obligations outside of the rugby, his kids and everything, and he was good enough to sit down with me multiple times for a long time, go for walks, send me big emails of what I should and shouldn't be doing. And I'm very fortunate that I had that access to someone like Paulie.
It's amazing.
And listen, having the experience of him as well, like I've similar memories, but he's somebody who was great for advice, and it obviously worked for you. Like, listen, you went on, had a wonderful career for Munster, with Ireland as well, part of that Triple Crown team as well. Like, some amazing memories looking back on. And I remember when you announced your retirement, you just said, like, singing the Irish national anthem is something that always was the dream growing up.
Yeah, 100%. Like, honestly, that I think I've had two tough moments since I retired. It was one watching Munster Leinster in the Aviva when the Munster boys ran out. That kind of hit me a bit. And then watching the lads last week against Toulon, those special days away in France, or hopefully this week another special day in Thomond Park. And
the World Cup, that must have been tough for you, was it not, watching that?
100% tough.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of rugby, the worst part of professional sport, I'd imagine. It's, being injured, or whether it's being injured or you're not selected, and you have that, unique insight into what's actually going on in camp. You're talking to the boys, you're seeing the performances, and then obviously with everything that went on in France, the crowds, how much the nation got behind the team. There's not 1 minute of that New Zealand match that I wouldn't have backed Ireland. Yeah. It was
It's amazing, isn't it?
But just thinking, through injury, that was what kept you, you probably would have been there, and it's just so hard. And that is, people see the glamour of running out and representing your country, but actually it's the difficult moments like that with injury. and missing out on key moments.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, like, you've announced your retirement only recently as well due to that knee injury. Like, how have you found it? How is life after rugby going for you?
It's going well, to be honest. It's early days, you know, and again, talked to Paulie. He was in one of the Munster games where they were doing a bit of a thing for myself and Keith. And he was saying that, you know, the first 6 months is brilliant because, you know, the ideas, the possibilities, you know, your head is you know, running at 100 miles an hour, you're thinking of all the different things. And then once you pass that 6 month mark and a bit more reality sets in, so that he's warned my wife that I'm going to have to be looked after 6 months.
Liz, mind him. Can I just say what I'm getting from this is that Paul O'Connell should become the nation's careers guidance counsellor
I think
or something? Like, it seems everyone's going to this. But it is that adjustment. And I know, like, Liz, your wife is so important to you. Your daughter, Hayley, was it was her first Munster match and your last Munster match, which is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's cool, yeah.
Like, that's a memory that you have. You've got those pictures. It's lovely. You're now looking from the outside. And I do sit down with someone who looks in from the outside. The Six Nations squad was announced yesterday. Peter O'Mahony is going to be captaining the squad. What did you make of the squad, and how do you think Peter would be feeling? Like, it's a huge honour for him.
It's a huge honour. He's done it so much for Munster. He's captain Ireland multiple times. Most people would think he's born for the role, you know. He's learned from Johnny, he's learned from Paulie, he's been a Lions captain, Lions Test captain before. You know, I think it's probably smart what he's done in terms of stepping down as Munster leader, passing that over, you know, still being there on site to help guide, whether it's Tig or whoever gets selected. But being the national captain for the rugby team, you know, we're one of the top teams in the world, is a big job. And, you know, like putting a lot of his energy and all his energy really into that I think it's a smart move, and I've no doubt he's going to smash it.
No doubt. Listen, he's the obvious choice there with the experience that he has, and still a young guy as well. It's going to be different though. Like, I mean, it is now this new transition, an Irish team without Johnny Sexton, a guy who's been such a talisman leader for the last couple of years. Like, you've been quite, like, you talked about what Paul O'Connell was to you. You've been quite the mentor to Jack Crowley, is that right? Like, you've tried to offer him a bit of advice whenever he's a young guy coming through.
I think whenever you're older in the squads and you would experience this, that, you know, the young lads are always, the best ones are always looking to learn, and the likes of Jack, the likes of Tony Butler, who's coming through in Munster, they're looking to talk to whoever it is, myself, Keith Earls, Connor, Pete, you know, and it's the little tiny, small bits and pieces that you can tell them, but it's also, you know, what your actions are, what you're doing every day, who's out there early to train, you know, to get prepared for the team session, who's out there working on specific skills after, you know. So the conversations are absolutely important, and they're a good thing to almost set a standard for. But I think watching people is the more important, you know. What, like, that's what I would have done when I was younger, watching Issa whenever I was in Leinster, how he operated, watching Johnny Sexton, you know.
And I just have to say, it's amazing, because he's such an old man at 32, lads, you know. Like, just so old, passing it on to the young lads, my God. Because it's amazing, it's a new way of life. 32 years old, whole life ahead of you, new career, but also baby number 2 on the way. How's it going? When's the baby due?
Baby is due April 2nd.
Is Liz doing okay?
Yeah, she's doing good. Yeah, doing good. So working away at the moment. We spent the guts of yesterday morning clearing out a room that was originally the office, but over the last 2 years it's been everything that we want to get out of sight put in there. So satisfaction doing that. So plenty of more of that work to do. And yeah, we're really looking forward to, obviously, when you have your first one, it's a shock to the system. You have no idea. But I feel like, you know, I almost need to relearn that early baby phase again, you know what I mean?
So, don't you worry. You learn pretty quick. It happens whether you like it or not. Listen, it's very exciting for you, and best of luck with the transition, and take your time, absolutely. Pick what is right for you as well. No doubt you'll smash it as well. But best of luck to you, Liz, and Hayley, 2-year-old as well, is going to have a brother or sister, we don't know.
We don't know.
Andrew Conway, pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a million, Andrew. Pleasure.